We start tonight with new information on a police-involved shooting that ended in the death of 58-year-old Evansville man Everett Nunn. EPD released the findings of their internal investigation into the officer involved. Our Gabe Pontones joins us with that, along with reactions from Nunn's family. Gabe?
Well, Rob, in a video posted to the department's Facebook page, EPD Chief Philip Smith says the investigation found that no policies were violated by Officer Nicholas Helfert. Everett Nunn's family says they are sickened and they hope the county sees it differently. It's been nearly 3 months since an officer-involved shooting on Louisiana Street resulted in the death of 58-year-old Everett Nunn. Since then, EPD has been investigating the officer who shot him, Officer Nicholas Helfert. Officials say their final determination is that Officer Helfert violated no policies or procedures the night of the shooting. They also say even though EPD is done with their part, the investigation is not over.
There's so much community interest in this case. I will still hand over the review and the findings of the review to the Evansville Police Merit Commission for their own independent review of the incident.
Nunn's family says they disagree. They say there has been no transparency between them and the police department during the investigation. They say Officer Helfert resorted too quickly to deadly use of force and say if he followed protocol, Everett Nunn would still be alive.
Deadly use of force is the last thing that is supposed to happen. And that night that it did happen, that was the first thing that was used, was deadly force. Nothing else was used, and there was no de-escalation. The first thing that was used that night was deadly force.
With the administrative review now complete, officials say the criminal investigation will be handed off to the Vanderburgh County Prosecutor's Office. The family says they hope fresh eyes will see the situation differently.
It's kind of hard to have transparency and accountability coming from the same group of people, you know? I hope the county just is a little bit more transparent and holds him a little bit more accountable.
Family says there will be events in the coming months to honor Everett Nunn. We will keep you updated as the investigation continues at the county level.